What's up there, Workforce? Chris here, and Brian and I just finished recording a couple of posts, some of which may be live before or after this, but on his way out the door, he's going to come back in here and sit, because we started having a conversation about... I told him I was really happy with the live letter and where Final Fantasy was as a whole, with the exception of one change that was made today.
And he told me about it, and I go...
And I thought maybe I was just overreacting because I've been up too long. So cross-roll abilities are getting expanded. You now have your choice of 10.
Why? Like, am I...
And
I've been busy.
I was upset about it
I'm
this
jumping
morning.
in. Chris is pissed.
I didn't realize how mad I was until we started talking about it. Because, first of all, they said it was a temporary change because there's going to be a new system. But literally everything in the game will one day be a new system.
Right. So outside of that, do they give it an expectation as to
why would I burn my house down today? Because my wife and I want to one day live in a different house.
That's an extreme analogy.
That's how I feel about this.
Right.
You're taking a perfectly balanced class system, and you're saying there's a handful of people upset because the optimal set is so much better than the second most optimal set.
Right.
Because they didn't force anybody to pick those abilities.
Right.
The healers say, if I don't pick them,
right,
then I'm not good. Okay, well then that's the issue. Not that I need access to all 10.
Right. But that's a weird thing. It just, here's all 10. There's only 10 abilities.
Well...
So why, like... I guess I'm really out of the loop, because obviously when everybody's forced to pick 5 abilities, it's inherent that several abilities will rise to the top of must-have. Protect would be one of them. Now the fact that I can have all 10, it just weakens the whole system, and we had the cross-class, and that system was essentially weak. I guess that when he told me about it, the question I have is that why the heck don't we just go back to the sub-job system? That is a tried and true understated system within the Final Fantasy universe. Now, immediately, like, oh, it could break this, and yeah.
And there are clever ideas you've talked about, like assigning points to each one, so you buy your cross-roll skills from like a point total, so you have like 25 points to spend, and you can say, okay, this point's really good. And we can talk day and night about all the new systems that could exist in this rebuilt one.
Yeah.
But I don't know why they would create a temporary problem holding off. The system works today.
Is this just an admission that then the cross-roll system is just junk? Because why not then just open it up to 6?
I understand
healers.
Healers are the one role that has the biggest pain point.
Well, especially because
they literally have one extra, so they macroed in the ability to toss out protect.
Yeah,
but you could fix that by just making protect native to every class.
Right. It's just immediate, and that's one of the things people have said.
It's not a cross roll.
It's not.
It's native to every class.
It's just every healer.
Every healer has protect.
Right.
And that would.
Or they could just get rid of the need for protect, and it's like, oh, everybody automatically always has it, so might as well not show it. I don't like it. I didn't like when they took away Stone Skin, because I liked that. That kind of fantasy, that kind of spell, that kind of world within the game. But he was in here. Like, I was like, they went to 10. Like jumping to 10, it just seems like they gave up.
Oh, instead of like 5.
They're at 5, like
or
6 or 7.
Like,
Okay, well,
so
listen, we'll just give you. We're going to give you 1
so
or 2.
Instead of 5, let's just double
because
it.
One of the things we talked about is that you get 5 at 50, right?
Sure.
So then we're like, why not at 60 have 6, and then at 70 you have 7, and
they could do that retroactively, and we would have had 7 as a 4.4.
Right, exactly. So
not
that's
10.
one of the things where we're like, well, okay, it's kind of a bummer that they're really not expanding on that. And the cross-roll abilities themselves are not level synced. You get to take those into all of your content. So now, in theory, like a level 70 character could have just a ton of power. That breaks everything sub-7, well, maybe even post-70.
So, Brian, first of all,
my controller guides are going to have to be updated.
So I've been playing a lot of Final Fantasy in the last 3 months.
Okay, yeah.
And I love Final Fantasy. I think it has one of the better, if not the best, crafting system in an MMO RPG, period.
Mm-hmm.
I think that the way they handled level sync, they are up there as industry leaders. There are systems that have come out since that are very interesting, but I think from a story and a lore and an amount of cutscenes that you get for your dollar, they are amazing that they can deliver.
Right.
So I want to say all of that because I don't want to sound like I'm just bashing on the game here. I like Final Fantasy. But my biggest frustration with this game is that they come out with a really great idea. They postpone releasing it, they postpone releasing it, they postpone releasing it. Then they give it to us. It's partial, so they might as well have given it to us on day 1 because it's not complete.
Yeah.
And then they never finish it. And then after a year, it's either a system that we've forgotten about, like Golden Saucer, Squadrons, Retainers, Chocobos, wonderful systems that just got left high and dry with no continued development. Or, granted, we got a little more Golden Saucer today, but how long's that been? And or we then just literally get rid of it. We say you're gonna have a job. You're gonna have a job, and then if you want, you can have a second job. It'll level at the same time. We'll try that one time, and then we don't really like it, so let's pitch it.
So Chris was completely upset about the whole Scholar Summoner thing, and the reason why people complained was the substats. Like, you could assign stats to one or the other. The biggest reason was like, oh, I need int on this one, and you have these points, and you couldn't change them. Well, they got rid of that system. I think that solved the whole class to multiple jobs problem.
On the job.
Right.
Because you don't play as the class.
Exactly.
Ever.
I know. And so that's where I was like, that was my...
How often do you party with a thaumaturge?
It is funny when it happens. Like, hey...
Especially at like level 50. You're like, what are you doing?
Have you like, go follow your class quest, dude, because, like, you're going to really enjoy Black Mage. Oh, my gosh. No, why? I don't...
So we get rid of. We effectively get rid of Ultimate. Ultimate becomes basically a cross-world event. It's rare and it's exciting, but it's this thing that's only going to happen every time a unicorn appears expansion. So effectively, from a content production standpoint, we as players will never have.
This honestly makes me, as somebody who really likes to follow this game and Reddit, feel out of the loop completely, because it's like, okay, it's annoying. But the macro seems to solve it. But, like, is it that big of an issue? Like, are people legitimately... I would love to know your thoughts, guys. So, sound off in the comments below. Because while Chris is upset about it...
I didn't realize I was upset. We filmed 2 videos talking about other things that I was totally happy. Talking about FanFest, I'm in a good mood. And then he's like, we were talking about, he's like, how did you really feel about the live letter overall? And I'm like, I liked a lot of it. It's mid-cycle. Mm-hmm. Everything's out. It's been out since 4.3. We've finally got, Heaven on High was awesome. Yeah. Hagos is releasing a little towards the end. I didn't like that at first, but they're lining it up with the Crossworld event, and it actually sets Eureka in a place where it can always be the last thing before our next content patch, which means that the Eureka that comes out right before the expansion will hopefully hold us over during that inevitable lull. Exactly. So I think the timing of everything was really smooth, except for this one little change. Yeah. And I told you about it, and then it's like, well, Maddie would take cookies for dinner every night.
Every night.
So how come you don't let her have that? She asked for it.
Well, why?
Don't you want to make her happy?
No. I literally, here I go.
That's how I feel about it.
Why have the system at all?
Whining worked. Forget game developers. Forget the people who grew the game to being the second largest MMO in the world. Mm-hmm. Forget that. We got a group of people that would rather have more abilities on the bar.
I want to know more.
What does it do to controllers?
Why? It destroys it.
I got plenty of keys.
Oh, keyboards suck.
On my PlayStation 4.
Controller player for life, baby. At the end of the day, like, this means that controller guide, I need to go update my controller guides, because you're going to have, and then for how long? It would be nice to say, here's this, and the reason we're doing this is because this is the system we envision, and if they're going to make us wait till November to learn about that system, if that system...
It's not coming out until 5.0. Well, there's no way they make another change.
You don't make those changes in that kind of cycle unless they're absolutely necessary, in my opinion.
It's knee-jerk.
But it feels weird. Like, it just feels out of the blue. Like...
It's a Band-Aid. They didn't say, are some abilities used so much we should make them native to all classes? Are some abilities, so underutilized that they need a buff? Are there additional abilities that need, so we have more choices, so there's more utility? Are they going to have these? So when you bring 2 healers, you kind of want one with one type and one with another.
Are these just going to be abilities that are auto-equipped too? Because the problem is that, let's say the problem is, you're not taking your cross-roll and people aren't aware of it, an ignorance factor. Well, like, are you automatically having them equip those abilities themselves?
Let me pull this up real quick, and we're going to go scroll through and see if we can find this.
Okay.
All right, so I just opened this up, and I'm going to read exactly what came across the live translation, because this was really early this morning. So this was done based on feedback given. It will take too much time to address the core of it. That's what frustrated me, is that they made a Part 1 live letter change. They could have gone over this in Part 2 when they go over balance changes. Yeah. They made a Part 1 change and said, we're just going to drop this bomb, but I don't really have time to explain it. For now, we're going to solve it by giving slots. Up to 10.
Up to 10.
up to 10.
Okay.
So, well, yeah, you don't have to take all your cross roll. So people who want 10 will have 10. And yes, it's flexible. You don't have to have everything if you don't want. And this will roll in 4.4. And then they said next, PvP updates.
Man, what?
Oh yeah.
Weird.
That was it. So that was the translation. It was that fast. And it really caught me off guard in my video this morning. I just kind of said it and moved on.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm so frustrated because they let these systems sit idle forever. And like, yes, we're getting more Squadron and more Gold Saucer now, but how long have those systems been in the game?
Yeah.
They've been in the game so long. So you take these systems and you let them sit forever and ever, and then you rebuild them. Mm. And instead, with this one, you tear it down, and then how long is it going to be until we get it rebuilt?
If we're going to just break it, right? I just want the sub-job system back. I just say, like, go ahead and allow me to equip stuff that I've learned, traits, like the Final Fantasy sub-job. Like people, like in an MMO world, it becomes a challenge because that means, oh, level up this and then go level up this other job. But it's tried and true. It's understood. People who've played Final Fantasy, any Final Fantasy that's had it, identifies with it. Heck, even Octopath Traveler has the sub-job system, and I get it. Balance issues. There's going to be a right choice. Well, the sub-job system, again, like I said, tried and true, and has lasted and lasted and lasted and lasted. This is the third or fourth change to this kind of cross-class and cross-role and, that whole system in and of itself, because technically, yeah, this would be the officially fourth change to it, because we had it from 1.0 to 2.0, 2.0, and then eventually the big one. And
it's not that other games don't go through changes.
Right.
Guild Wars has had changes. Warframe, I'm sure, has had changes. We don't know it well enough.
Right.
WoW has definitely had changes.
Mm-hmm.
Huge changes. Now you pick in columns, and you have a left, a right, and a middle.
Or why not go to the skill tree? Like, get rid of this and go with the skill tree system, like with points and things that you earn, etc. So you can have a unique build, and then all of a sudden there
will always be an optimal one.
But there are so many good systems.
Well, let's just toss them all out and make the game casual. Don't pick left or right. I think choice makes games good. Choice,
right? Well,
the ability
to game is a system.
But now it's not a choice. You just get access to everything.
I guess the choice here is that you can.
There's no choice.
You could take all 10 if you want to. I don't know, Chris. Like I think I'm confused by this, and I would love to know if anybody out there is excited about it. And I'm not hating on anybody who is by any means. I'm not upset.
I want cookies for dinner too. I'm just worried that 5 years from now, when I'm sick and I go to the game doctor and I say, "Why is my game not fun anymore, doc?"
Yeah.
And he's like, "Well, who told you could eat cookies this whole time?" Of course. Now you have no sense of accomplishment. You have no sense of reward. The reason we have a sense of accomplishment in this game is because
character development, right?
Yeah,
now it's just gear. Like
that's what free to play games do, right? You buy all the items. You can trade money for it, and then you instantly progress to the end. It's really fun to be in a god mode for about a day or two, and then you get bored and you quit.
Yeah.
I want this game to last longer than that, so I need them to control the pace, and they need to build the game, and I need to trust their judgment, not mine.
Based off of user feedback, I don't know, like I wasn't aware. And so, guys, enlighten me, please. I'd love to do a community feedback on this topic. To hear, like, especially if you're excited about this, or what kind of system do you want to see this evolve into? Like
10 is so many. I think it's a huge mistake.
I would have been fine with if you said 7. I would be like, oh, cool. That means like every 10 levels, you know,
right? And they're prepping it for 5.0, giving us 8, and they'll design 5.0 with that in mind,
right?
You can't go making changes like this mid-expansion. Stormblood did not start with this in mind. So now this is a change that inherently is going to change the balance of every previous fight. And how do we know 4.4 is even balanced for it? They make this changes now. We're going to get extremes. We're going to get extremes and stuff in.
Unsynced content because those things aren't synced. I think it's, like I said, that breaks all the synced content.
Every rotation, every DPS guide, everything that's optimal relies on choices.
Huge change for such a minor little footnote. I would rather if they were going to dive into it with what. So this is just a 4.4 fix. So what is is it 4.5? It's 5.0. Let's be honest. Anyway, guys, that's frustrating. I'd love to know your thoughts. Come out of here. You can wrap up the video, Chris.
Well, guys, we were talking about it, and it was spilling onto the porch, and when we'd been talking about it for 5 to 10 minutes, and he had somewhere to be, it's like, we've talked about it so long now that we probably should have hit record. So we just wanted to start the conversation with you guys and see if maybe you could help us make sense of it. Do you read the unofficial translation differently? Do you see the problem? I know that there are people who wish that they had a little more, but I mean, I wish I had better gear. It doesn't mean I want them to just give it to me off a vendor and trade for one gil. That sense of accomplishment is what makes me want to keep playing this game next month instead of just finishing everything this month and being like, oh, I did everything I wanted to do. That's it. So, let us know in the comments below kind of what you guys think. Continue that conversation down there. We would love to start a community feedback on this subject. So I'm glad Brian got to stick around and get some of these thoughts on tape. And I'll see you guys next time.
Hey, Chris. I really like what you do on this channel, and I want to say thanks. How can I do that?
You could try being a patron.
Oh, okay. So tell me more about it.
Well, I think you'd have to click on the link to take you to our Patreon page and see if you want to support it. Unfortunately, you're not going to be able to support just me. Okay. You're going to have to support both of us.
So this is kind of like a win-win. So if they support you, they support me, right?
Yes.
Awesome.
Yes.
Do we have like cool, fun rewards? Like, is there anything I get?
They do. And we're constantly looking for ways to change that. So if you support Team Brian, Team Chris, just Team Work to Game, click on that link.
Yeah. Let us know what you think about the rewards too. Whether you like them or if we could do something a little bit different.
And by the way, thanks for watching this video.
We really appreciate it.
We'll see you next time.
Take care.